In this video, we're going to be unwrapping some seriously expensive parts. We'll be looking at a really bad electrical problem, doing a bit of gluing, a bit of bending, and there's some news on the engine.
Hello everybody and welcome. My Pantera project was supposed to be a pretty straightforward reassembly of an unfinished project, but I've had some really unwelcome surprises. Turns out it needed a complete repaint and an engine rebuild. I'm going to give you an update on what's happening with the engine in a moment. But first, the latest issue is a fairly serious problem with the electrics. The only two things that work are the front lights and the courtesy light. The front light pods don't go up and down, the hazards don't work, no indicators, no dash lights, none of the ventilation, the fans come on, nothing else is working. It turns out that Jim tried to improve the electrics on this car by getting rid of all the relays and substituting them with electronics boards like this to do things like raise the lights, get the lights on and off, fans, AC, everything was going through two circuit boards like this one. Now the problem is they just didn't work. Not only that, but while I was trying to just pressing one of the buttons, this one started to smoke, and I just thought, you know what, rather than get these going, we're going to have to just put it back to normal. The problem is that in order to fit this stuff, the loom has to be modified, and I am just awful with electrics. So here to save the day is Rory, also known as the Vintage Wireman. Now this guy does what I cannot do, what makes my skin crawl, and that is he concentrates on sorting out wiring of old classic cars. So, what are we going to do today, Rory?
And generally fix some of the harnessing issues that you found out, Jack. So we've got a bit of harness repair to do there where it's been messed with before. But yeah, I think we'll be on to a winner by the end of the day.
Here are the two circuit boards now removed. The one with the big blue capacitor controls the headlights, the hazard lights, indicators and so on. The other smaller board on the right actually does things like the seatbelt buzzers, the ventilation and the AC. There they are with all the wiring loom that had to be taken out as well. The smaller board, which controls the ventilation, the seatbelt buzzer and so on, we tried to retain, but as you'll see, that didn't work out either.
I'm sorry that this project is moving so slowly, but firstly, I want to make sure that I do it right. Secondly, I suffer from a bad back, and working on cars and editing videos makes it worse. Being able to vary my working position from sitting to standing really has made a huge difference. FlexiSpot sent me their E7 Pro to test. As you can see, it's super strong, and their C7 chair is super adjustable so you can get whatever position is comfortable for you. Now they haven't paid me to do this spot, they have supplied this stuff for free, but I am generally just impressed with the overall quality. But now, back to the Pantera. Does it look like there's anything missing in there? So the engine was something else that we expected to be fine because it had had a partial rebuild, but it turned out the bottom end was very worn.
On top of that, this engine was fitted with the low compression pistons, which are just not a good basis for a decent build.
That's not great, but the good news is that there's a very large box that has just arrived from the US, so let's go and see what's inside. The engine parts have already arrived.
Let's go through them, see what I've got, and how much this little lot has cost me.
This is a throttle cable, which I couldn't find anywhere on my car, so I just don't think it was there. And then here we have, I think, a gasket set. Loads of stuff. An ARP bolt set. I'm pretty sure this is for the main, so this is for the crankshaft. So my car didn't have a glove box, and amazingly, Mike, these are difficult things to find, managed to find one complete. These are the shells for the main, so for the crankshaft, JEP ring set for the pistons. This is a low friction piston set. There's a set of plugs here. So that is for it's a plug for the camshaft, at the end of the camshaft in the head. In the block, sorry. And then here, these are for the water jacket. So they're expansion caps, and I'm not sure where those plugs go. These, I already know what these are. They are a set of bumpers, which Mike says are the right ones for my car. Apparently mine's got, I think they're not rounded at one end, which isn't appropriate for the year. So, And now here is a money shot. Check this baby out. This is the camshaft. Howard cam. This is a fast road cam. Price of this one, $469 plus various taxes, plus taxes to get this all into the UK, by the way, which is another 20% on top. And this is a hydraulic lifter cam. So the one that I had was a solid lifter, but it was also quite an extreme cam. I wanted something which was a little bit more tractable for the road for this car. Okay, so this is a grille that goes on the back, lower back part of Pantera's. It's over the AC unit, for the AC unit to draw in air. These must be okay, these are shells for, oh, so that I think is actually a conrod bolt kit. Have I got that right? Yeah, and then, yeah, I think this is a connecting rod bearing kit. And these are the new shells for the camshaft. And this is a Mellings, by the look of it. Oil pump. Heavy, heavy bit of kit this. That's $58, which just seems, for such a heavy part, just seems incredibly cheap. Another money shot. Petronics distributor. Didn't have a distributor with my car. I don't know where it ended up because Jim must have had all the bits for it. Oop, we'll lose that. A load of little springs and so on with a distributor. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that a thing of beauty? We'll have to have a look at that in more detail. But flamethrower igniter 2 is what I've got. Now, Rollmaster timing chain kit. I did have a new one in the car, which I can't remember what it was called, but apparently the one I had is made in India, nothing against the Indians, but the one that I had was made in India and apparently they're not good quality. Okay, these are the hydraulic lifters. Quite a part I was looking forward to seeing. So my car has solid lifters, which just aren't needed in this application, and it means that you have to adjust the valve clearances periodically. If you use hydraulic, once it's put together, that's it. You don't need to continuously adjust it. So these are Edelbrook gaskets. These will be intake gaskets. Oh, I've been dying to see these. SRB forged pistons. Flat top. So all together with these pistons, the heads that I have and so on, I think we're aiming for something above, I don't know, something like 10.5 to 1 compression. I'm not entirely sure, but look at that.
The pistons do look great, but let's see how Rory's getting on with the electrics.
It was going to be an afternoon's work, but in actual fact, we're 2 weeks later. Rory has been here 4 times. It really was quite a big issue. Let's go in and find out why it took so long and what we have finally got working. Rory.
Hi, Jack.
Or Simon Pegg. I see, guys, yeah, you've given up your acting career to come in and do a bit of
finally
electrical
recognise
stuff.
me as Simon Pegg. Whenever you're dealing with a car like this, you can never assume anything. So just because wires are attached to, say, switches or a component, you should never assume they're actually right, because you might assume that worked. Obviously it's attached, but somebody may just have put them there and it will never work. So yeah, there have been quite a few challenges. For instance, the dash lights, so the high beam light and the indicator light, basically wired wrong. So, you know, you assume that they're right because they're already wired up, but nobody's ever tested them, or somebody went, oh, they don't work, and then never bothered again. We can demonstrate a few things that are now working because virtually nothing worked before. So let's start off with the lights. So obviously we've got the side lights and then we've got our lovely pop-up lights.
Oh, nice, going up and down. Now this has the halogen aftermarket things, which I might remove at some point, but for the MOT they will do fine. So they're both working, high, low beam.
Yeah.
And then they'll go back down.
and they will indeed go back down as well. Now obviously they need a little bit of adjustment.
Yeah, I need to adjust the limit switch, that's fine. Let's try the side lights and indicators.
So there's the indicator, and
Yeah.
then we've got this combined, so we've got the side light as well.
So in the US, at least when this was sold, this would have been the front indicator, and it would have doubled up as an indicator, but also a parking light. The problem is, in Europe, for this to pass the MOT, okay, an indicator orange would be fine, but it also needs to have a white side light parking light. So what Rory came up with to solve this problem is bicolour LEDs, obviously with the same contacts as the light bulb, so that when the indicators are on, they flash orange, and when you put the parking light on, it's white. That left only one problem. The white wouldn't come through here, but there are some clear indicator lenses available. These are actually from, I think, a Fiat 850 Spider or something of that sort. So they're difficult to find, but not completely unobtainium. At the back of the car, we have a similar problem. What you see now being used as decorations are the original tail lights for the US market Pantera, but they do not have amber indicator pods. These EU spec rear light lenses are actually pretty expensive if you buy them directly for a Pantera. And they are also on some Maseratis, but that wouldn't really help much. Luckily, I found that the Alpha 2000 1970s 2-litre version also uses the same lens. So I was able to get a set from Classic Alpha in the UK. I also got from them these two switches, which is one is for the wipers and one is for the fans, which are either identical or very, very close to the ones that were in there before. So massive thanks to Filippo at Classic Alpha. I will put their details in the video description. So indicators working, great. Brake lights, we don't have the pedals, so we can't check, but those are basically the lights, aren't they? When
Yes.
the lights are on, then those come on as well.
But yeah,
Awesome.
I tested the brake lights earlier just by shorting it out. So, and all the brake lights work and everything. So
Great. Okay, and what other wonders have you got to show me?
well, originally we had no dash lights.
Yeah.
So now, for instance, we've got the
Oh, that is nice
that
to
shows-
see.
and then we can go to main beam as well, and it's quite dim, but you can
There is a blue, yeah,
the
we
blue
can
light
just see it
there.
on the camera as well.
Yeah, and then of course
The
we've got-
indicator as well.
we've got the indicator working as well. So there was none of that previously.
Is it backlit when the
Yeah,
lights are
so
on?
there
And
are-
is that in there?
That
or?
is backlit as well, isn't it? But it's very difficult for you to see because they're quite.
But that is working, is
Yeah,
it?
but we've got
Okay,
the
fine.
backlights working as well. So
Okay. Then,
yeah, so this is the dreaded board. So there has been a bit of a thermal incident on it, and at present we're pretty sure this is what's stopping the horn from working. So we'll put a relay in to replace the bits and pieces on this.
I'll put the website address on in the video
Excellent.
description. Thanks so much.
Excellent.
And I'll see you soon because we do have a bit more to do here once the engine
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
and a
yeah.
few other bits. But
Yeah.
great progress.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, Jack. Thanks very much.
Next job was to pack up all the engine bits and take them down to Derek, who already has the engine's bottom end.
So we're here at Hilltop Services. The American stuff is all that Derek has done for 30 years. He is going to be doing this whole build, including when it's done, he will be sending the engine off to a dyno to be run in. That's great because we'll also get some power figures and we'll know that it is, okay from top to bottom. As well as the machining work, he's going to send everything off to be balanced, but there's another upgrade he's going to do. They machine the rear seal. Normally it's in two parts and it's notorious for leaking. He converts it to fit a one-piece rear main seal, which will be reassuring in the long term for less leaks. The engine should be ready just before Christmas. In the meantime, there is a lot of work to do here at the front of the car. So this front trunk area needs to be lined. Then I need to sort out the brake lines, clutch lines, and the pedal box. I think those are the sort of big-ish outstanding issues. Luckily, I have my friend and Pantera guru, Johnny Woods, who's come down to give me a hand.
So first we make newspaper templates for each panel. Then we check for fitment, and now although this is quite a forgiving fabric, it's trickier than you might think. All being good, and we glue down each panel individually.
We've done about 95% of lining the trunk, certainly enough now so that we can go and do the brake lines. It has, however, taken a lot longer than I thought. I think it's been about 5 hours work, something like that. The carpeting felt that I got, although it's all right, it's not actually as good as I was hoping, but the result, I think, you know, I'm pretty happy with. But next now is we're going to put the pedal box in, and then once that's in, finally, we can start working on those brake lines.
Pedal box was much more of a pain to put in than we expected. In the end, we had to cut out a little notch on the side of the box. Otherwise, we would have had to almost completely dismantle it. As it was, we had to take the brake servo off before it would go in. Next, for the brake lines, we used some plumber's solder to get a rough template of the size and length of the line. We then measured the length with a piece of string, cut the brake line, and started flaring. The connectors on this system require a double flare, so once the first one is in, it just gets pushed inside a little bit with the cone shape, and voila! Using the soft solder template, the line is then bent to shape.
These two lines have come out really, really well, but of course Johnny was here to help me. From now on, I'm going to have to do all the rest of them myself, so we'll see how those turn out in the next episode. Also though, there is yet another issue. So there's a brand new brake master cylinder that came with the car, but Johnny measured the bore and it's a 22 mil. They should be 19. A 22 will make the clutch even heavier, which is absolutely not something I want. So I've had to order another clutch master. The issue is getting that pedal box in and out is actually a real pain in the bum. You have to remove the servo and everything else. So again, I'll have to do that on my own next time. And also I spoke to Derek, the engine builder, and he said that the engine will be dynoed. It's booked in for dyno on the 6th of December. So I'm going to make sure that I do an update video before Christmas, literally maybe Christmas Eve or even Christmas Day, where we'll see the dyno results for the engine, we'll see what I've done with those lines and the progress, other things I'm going to do. Things should hopefully speed up a little bit from now. I think a lot of the rest of it I can start to do myself. And please do consider becoming channel members. If you do, you will get advanced previews of any videos on the Pantera before anyone else does. You also get updates and things like that on what I've been doing to it, which again are just for channel members. Thank you so much, and I'll see you for the next video.